The story is all about this incredible night each year where this tribe of cats called the Jellicle Cats come together to decide which cat gets the chance to be reborn and have a new life.
Bombalurina, her cat is going to be a very kind of elegant, athletic-looking sort of, I think she's based on a Bengal cat, which I used to have a Bengal cat, so I know what they're like. They're crazy. They're like amazing cats, but very kind of with a wild streak.
I think we've all met somebody like Bustopher Jones. He represents so many different people that I've met in my life where you're kind of drawn to them, their confidence, their sort of elaborate nature.
And Bombalurina, the character, she's sort of one of the bad cats. In my head, I categorize the cats as either good cats or bad cats in this musical. You have the good cats. You have, you know, Mr. Mistopheles, Munkustrap, Victoria's a good cat, Deuteronomy, Gus the theater cat, Bustopher Jones. They're all really good cats. Jenny Any Dots. Then you have the bad cats, which is McCavity and Griddlebone, Rumpelteazer, Mungu Jerry, and Bombalurina.
McCavity, the first thing you'll notice about him is his eyes. He has like these incredibly bright green, emerald green eyes that, you know, really pierce, and he has this scar. And he's a cat that's, you know, had a few wars.
McCavity is the baddest bad cat. We kind of are mobsters in this world where we sort of will take what we want. We're not abiding by any cat laws, and just sort of lying, stealing, cheating our way through life. And Bombalurina is this sort of right-hand man for McCavity.
He wears this huge sort of fur coat and a hat, but the fur coat's got like scratches and muck all over it. And he looks really sort of majestic, but he's a tomcat. He's been about, and he's a trickster. You know, he's sort of like charming one minute and then horribly desperate and insecure the next minute.
Judi Dench, who's like the spiritual leader of the cats, who plays old Deuteronomy, she's the character who gets to decide which cat has the most need of this kind of rebirth, renewal.
Grisabella, at least for me, is a very heavy character from an actress standpoint. She's also kind of the heart of it all, of cats. She carries the weight. Like, she has the type of presence when she walks into the room, it changes the tone of the room. You feel her before you even see her.
We see the night through the eyes of Frankie Hayward's cat, Victoria.
I'd say Victoria, her character, it's like the light of it all.
She's taken on this journey by these other cats. She has to quickly decide whether she trusts them, whether she wants to go on this journey. And I think there's a real turning point in the film where she actually realises that this might be where she's always meant to be, actually, which is quite a beautiful moment.
Lee Hall, who wrote the screenplay with me, you know, we came up with this idea of Victoria being brutally abandoned at the beginning of the film and left in a waste ground, in a junkyard, and meeting these Jellicle cats. And the whole story of the film is her finding out who this community is, who the big personalities are, what a special night she's happened upon, which is, you know, what the Jellicle Ball is, what the rules of the world are. And so it becomes a kind of coming-of-age story where we experience the world of Jellicle cats through her eyes.
Like a young, new, innocent cat or kitten, maybe even. And that came with a certain light and air that I felt like connected to Grisabella, although she was kind of on the outskirts as well, but she still had a chance. And somewhere it was like a common denominator between Victoria and Grisabella.
Tom and I both felt at the beginning of the process when we were talking about my character that Victoria should not be weak or come across as, you know, too helpless. You know, she needs help, but she is still very strong, and she finds more and more strength as she goes through the film. So I think we've always been coming back to that idea with every scene and finding moments to find that together.
Cats was its own thing. From the very beginning, people didn't know how to categorize it, and I think the fact that it was its own thing made it a wonder. It made it a novelty, made it a talking point.
It's all crazy. We're going to take a load of people and they're going to pretend to be cats. And they're going to, like, if you just say it out loud, it's bonkers. But that's kind of, I think, where the most fun happens, really. You know?
We are so happy to be here, reason why, because there's a lot of big things I did in my life, and my mom didn't even call that. Then when we told her that we're doing Cats, she actually sing a song from Cats. My mom doesn't speak English. She knows a song from Cats. I'm like, I'm about to do something my mom will actually love.
I think that Andrew Lloyd Webber's music is so impactful because it's so unabashedly emotional.
He's very, very clever, Andrew. And I've really been an enormous admirer of his for a very long time.
I think I've seen most of Andrew's musicals live, and I mean, he's obviously a musical genius and a musical theatre god.
Like, it's never not been a hit in any country that it's opened in, because I think people want to watch something that's completely original.
It's so unapologetically emotional. There's absolutely no artifice in front of it.
Look, you know, it's undeniable that this is one of the greatest musicals that's ever lived and ever been created.
It's a show that's known around the world. It's sort of, it's crossed generations now. It's over 35 years old.
The emotion is at the forefront of what you're hearing. And I think that's really the trick to what has made his music so timeless, is that it leads with emotion.
There is nothing else like it, and there never ever will be. That, I think, ultimately is the thing that has propelled it for so many years around the world.
I think McCavity is such a fan favorite as a song because it's definitely just so mischievous and so tongue-in-cheek and kind of funny at times, and it's just kind of fun to think of a cat, to picture this cat that really thinks that they think they're criminal masterminds. Everybody's known that cat, that by night they just wreak complete havoc.
Rum Tum Tugger is, I feel like, is a standalone track within the film that kind of is a little different than all of the other songs. It's a little funky, you know what I'm saying? It has like this little funk vibe.
When I first heard I was going to be in Cats, woo! Instantly, I felt the pressures of Grisabella on my shoulders, like, wait, me as Grisabella? Wait, I get to sing Memory? And then to learn of her journey and what she represents in this story, the weight that comes along with it, that's daunting, scary.
I remember my teacher, when I was in middle school, told me that in a musical, the time when someone breaks out into song is a time where words couldn't do the trick by itself, when it was so larger than life, when the emotion was so big that it just had to go into song. And I think I've ran with that state of mind ever since, because I think it's so on point. I think it's so right?
Beautiful Ghost is a song that Victoria sings to Grisabella. I think it starts prompted by seeing a private moment of Grisabella sort of upset and hurt by the other cats and the way they treated her. And I think it's Victoria's way, again, of trying to connect with her and pull her out of her pain and misery. And there's a lovely turn in the song where actually Victoria finds strength in what she's kind of singing to Grisabella, makes her realise it for herself as well. And she sees the light and the hope and the beauty of what she's just found with all these new cats and the friendship she could have. So she's trying to entice Grisabella back to happier days.
The song Macavity is very mischievous and very slinky and kind of, it feels a little bit like a cabaret number. It's really, you know, it's just a very fun song to sing and really fun to dance to. And it's gonna be a very big number in this movie. We've got just countless dancers that are a part of it, and it's a big, huge moment. And I'm really stoked to get to be in that moment because it's an amazing part of the Broadway show, and I think it's gonna be a really exciting part of the movie too.
You know, as soon as the emotion is just breaking into something that's just so deep that it just has to go into song.
I think when you have this many dancers that have come together from all different styles of dance, it's such a fun environment because, you know, there are some of us here in the cast who are actors who've learned to dance and sing.
There's singers who've never acted before.
There's some dancers who have learned to act and sing. It's amazing. Like, basically, like you have so many people coming together through all different corners of entertainment and learning together and kind of experiencing, you know, trying different things and improvising.
There's so many different kinds of dancers. There's so many different kinds of actors as well, right? So I think the really cool thing about the film is that there's a huge level of, it's kind of a level playing field.
When you have that many different styles of performance coming together, it's really, really exciting to be around.
Everybody's kind of like on this level playing field, and it's humbling in a lot of ways. You know, you have some of the best dancers on the planet here in different genres. You know, dancers from the Royal Ballet. You have some of the best hip hop dancers. You have some of the best tappers in the world, and they all are coming together to just create something that the world has never seen before.
It's really interesting actually seeing the way that each kind of style, the way that each dancer is trained. So like the mentality is different, everything, the way they warm up, the way they focus, the way they are able to, what's the word, to choreograph, to freestyle. Freestyling is not something that's very particular in ballet. You're usually given your steps by a choreographer, and then you, I think the mark of a great ballet dancer is taking those steps and making them your own, making them better, making them come alive. But for a lot of the other dance styles that I've been watching over the last few months, it's very much, they create their own steps as they go along, and that's been amazing to watch. You know, they just hear some music and they just start moving.
The most amazing part of it is to see all these beautiful artists known for what they're doing the best, singing or acting, coming to us, Les Twins, and said, okay, dude, what do you see? I know you have something in mind. Just let me know. Like I appreciate so much the fact that they wanted my advice is to make them look way better than they actually look like. Because for me, I don't think they need me. But if I have something to say, I had to say it. Because I'm a part of this project. I'm not here to make sure that it's beautiful when I'm here only. I want everybody to look sick, and they will look sick 16 years later, like, you know.
This film has some of the most talented people on the planet. You know, one week you're gonna have Taylor Swift coming out here and just blowing everybody's minds. The next week you're gonna have Jennifer Hudson out here blowing everybody's minds. It's been really interesting for me because they all have such different personalities and they all bring such a different dynamic to the film. I mean, Idris Elba, I mean, you know, his voice quiets a room, you know what I'm saying? And then James Corden make you drop dead laughing.
This movie is going to be spectacular, and And personally, I mean, I'd be first in line to buy a ticket if I was in it or not. Just the cast is incredible, from Dame Judi Dench, legend of the game, Sir Ian McKellen, James Corden, Idris Elba. We were all just in a scene yesterday, and Taylor Swift. There's so many talented, gorgeous, beautiful people in the film.
Taylor's amazing talent, and also she is gung-ho. She is willing to just go there and practice and work it out, and like a total pro. And so I love the idea of saying, let's actually, how far can we go? How far can we push this? And how detailed can we get? How complicated can the story be? And yet at the same time be really huge and exciting.
I've always wanted to work with her, so to be able to get in touch early on in this process and have this character in mind, and finally have the chance to work with her and direct her as an actress as well as a singer and a dancer. It was such an amazing experience, and Idris Elba, again, I'm a huge fan of and wanted to work with him for such a long time, and the chemistry between them on set was fantastic, and Andy, I think, excelled himself creating an incredible number for Taylor and Idris, an incredible storytelling frame for their characters, and the introduction of the villain of the piece, Idris Elba.
It's been very, very surreal for someone who doesn't sing, has never sung in public really, apart from at school or at church, to suddenly be singing to Jennifer Hudson, singing with her for a few bars, and also to have a song created for them by Taylor Swift, and also to have that song sung to them for the first time by Taylor Swift. That was a very surreal day.
The question of who was going to perform Memory was probably like the most burning question of casting. So I'm so excited that Jennifer agreed to do it, and she's got the most extraordinary voice, but I've known from Dreamgirls on how much she has to offer as an actress too, and we went through a fantastic rehearsal process working on the kind of emotional hinterland behind the song and preparing her for the day. And I'm sure she was very nervous on the day, because you kind of know when you're performing something like that what the pressure is, but she gave such an intelligent and emotional and incredible performance of it on the day that I knew I had the kind of emotional centerpiece of the film on that day.
Francesca Hayward lights up the screen. It's even in her presence, and then the way she moves. I remember the first day I got to see her dance on set. Before all our scenes, it was light, but then I swear it's as if she started flying across the set. It was beautiful to just witness, and then to see her sing, because let's not forget, it's every form of art in this project. So, I'm a singer and then an actress, and not a dancer. And then you have dancers who are not necessarily singers, and they have to sing. Luckily, Grisabella didn't have to, though. But to see Francesca sing, and that's not necessarily her comfort zone, but it was so beautifully done and so necessary for the character. And to see her stretch herself in that way, it was just amazing to witness.
The most extraordinary thing was how brilliant dancers are as actors. I mean, Frankie Hayward, who has never been in a film before, never acted on screen in terms of TV before, she, from day one, had a total and instinctive command of the film camera, and had an ability to hold the lens, which allowed her to stand shoulder to shoulder with Judi Dench and Ian McKellen, and these incredibly experienced geniuses of their craft. And if you go, I went to see Frankie in Manon at the Royal Ballet of the Day, and of course when you're sitting 100 yards from her, I mean, I know what's going on in her face because I've seen what she's like, but you couldn't know the level of detail and the level of commitment and the level of passion and the extent to which she embodies her dance. And so what I found fascinating working with dancers is I sort of expected the storytelling would kind of happen in the wide, but when you went into the close-up, it wouldn't be what I was used to as a director, but far from it. When I went in close, you know, everything they were doing in the dance was being intensified and expressed beautifully through their face as well.
Frankie has a purity in her movement and her character that bleeds into her character. She's coming to this world of film fresh, and I think the audience are getting a completely fresh look at Cats. They're seeing these larger-than-life characters through her eyes, and she's just amazing at taking you there.
Ian's performance was, you know, utterly extraordinary, and you know, I've wanted to work with him all my life, and to get this chance to work with him in his 80th year, in this incredibly special year for him, was, you know, like for me as a director, like one of my great dreams. And he is a genius. He's extraordinary. He's a wonderful man and a wonderful person. And there was something incredibly moving about him playing Gus the theatre cat, and effectively evoking through this character a life on the stage, and Gus's recollections fit with Ian's in the most extraordinary way.
I didn't know that Judi Dench can sing and dance. First of all, I didn't know. I didn't know the I Am McKellen. Oh my God! You know, we're a kid. We're all of Marvel. We have seen his thing from the beginning. He's a great actor, but I don't know that he can be a showman.
Oh, his voice can put you asleep. Like, it's just like, it's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
It's like I've been listening to him so much. It's like
close my eyes and just listen to his voice.
Cat School is so unique. Sarah does Cat School, and she's incredible.
Judi Dench, Ian McKellen, Taylor Swift, they all had to go through Cat School. So it was also something, it didn't just unify the dance styles, but I think it unified the dancers.
Basically, we go in and study the movements of a cat. It's really exciting and fun to learn about, you know, how they hold their posture, how they sense things, kind of just the anatomy of a cat that can make it more conducive to how a human can inhibit that kind of spirit, and it's just so fun.
It's like living life through a cat's perspective, which was so fun. And every time we would go to a new set, all of us turned into children because it was that exciting, because we're now tiny. The kitchen shelf is like 30 feet high, and it's like, are you serious? So a rocking chair is enormous.
I mean, Cat School. If you told me I was gonna get to go to Cat School every day for work,
the thing that I think is the most exciting thing, and could really only be done by a director like Tom Hooper, I think, is that he understands the spectacle of cats. And the spectacle of cats, so much of that is about dance and performance.
meeting Tom for the first time, he was very clear that he was creating something new, as well as honoring this amazing musical. He wanted to find a story from beginning to the end with characters that we can explore them further, these characters that you have in this musical, and deepen our understanding of them, of the characters that we find in these poems.
You can never know the journey you're going to go on when you're a child, and as I sit here right now, like the hairs on the back of my neck are up, just thinking about how extraordinary it is that I could be there as a kid enjoying the show and end up, you know, years later directing it with the creator of it, Angela Weber. And
learning that dance is like words for Tom has been a new thing that he's been amazing at stretching with and including me in. For me, there's always, I'm wearing several hats at the same time. I'm trying to clean up the picture to allow him to see it as well as he can see it, so that then he can take it further, because that's what it's about. I mean, he's a great director, and he obviously knows this craft.
What he wants to do is try and make the truest version to what Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice always wanted to do, which was take T.S. Eliot's poems and make a wildly theatrical story about them.
How dreams can come true that you didn't even know were dreams at the time.